If you have a question for any of our players on the screen, please use the Zoom hand raise feature and we will call on you. We also have a translator on site, so please feel free to use English or Indonesian. Thank you. First question from Kobe at Upcomer.
Hi guys, question for Flipsitter. When we spoke earlier, you said that after the game against Optic, you guys were giving them too much respect and not playing how you normally did. In this match against Zeta, do you feel that you guys were still doing that, or was this back to kind of how you normally play?
I think we play like not how we used to, but like almost. But we did so many small mistakes that cost us the round. Like the small mistake become bigger and bigger. I think the last map is because of that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other questions in the room? All right, this next question comes from Prensa Esports. For everyone who wants to answer, what is the knowledge you take after this tournament?
Ini untuk semuanya yang mau jawab, kira-kira pengalaman atau pelajaran apa yang bisa diambil setelah turnamen ini?
Boleh, Ban? Nggak tahu.
I think for that, for this tournament, especially it give us a lot of experience also playing in LAN and how to adapt faster to the game. Like after that, we can fix the little mistakes after that, because the little mistakes make so big impact to the round. So yeah, there is a lot of experience LAN about the game also, like outside the game also. Yeah.
Thank you. Next question from blix.gg.
Hi, first of all, commiserations on the series loss. I have this question towards Famous. As most know, you joined the team prior to the LCQ and have contributed to the team's success at this stage of the season. And so for you specifically, what's going to be like your biggest takeaway from your experience with Boom from LCQ until now?
Oke, pertanyaannya untuk Famous kan joinnya sebelum LCQ. Kira-kira pengalaman atau pelajaran apa yang bisa diambil setelah sekarang champion main dengan Boom dan ya semua yang udah dilaluin ini?
Pertama sih dari gameplay juga agak sedikit berubah ya, terutama lebih disiplin.
First is of course from the gameplay, it's different and also more disciplined.
Experience-nya apa ya? Kayaknya itu aja deh.
Pengalaman dari tim luar.
I think that's all that he can say for now.
Thank you. Next question comes from Sons of KS. For anyone who likes to answer, how do you feel the competitive level of Asia compared to other regions, and who do you think can win this tournament?
Ini pertanyaan untuk semuanya juga. Menurut kalian bagaimana competitiveness dari tim-tim Asia, dan menurut kalian siapa yang akan menang kali ini?
I think the competitiveness from Asia, from other region, I think Europe has more team, the good team, and then they have more structure, more like they can easily adapt to the game. I think that's what APAC team most lack of. And then what is the next question?
Who do you think will win the champions?
I think it's hard to say because every team doing so good, like Leviathan doing good, and then FPX looking good. I'm not sure. I cannot answer this.
I think Leviathan.
Yang lain ada yang mau nambah? So, I think that's all.
I'm stand for PepperX.
But my heart's still on PepperX.
Thank you.
Recording in progress.
Next question from Upcomer.
Hey guys, question for anyone. This is one of the first VCT events with Pearl in the active map pool, so I was just wondering what you guys think of the map. Yeah.
Oke, untuk semuanya mau jawab, ini juga pertama kali event ada map Pearl. Jadi menurut kalian bagaimana?
Jawab aja Pak, bisa pakai jawab bahasa Indonesia.
Bisa pakai bahasa Indonesia kok.
Jawab aja.
I think for the map Pearl, I think it's very interesting because there are a lot of stuff that we can do, especially on Belong and then the A. Like the mid is very interesting for me because there is a lot of way to go, like go CT, go art. So it's interesting and also frustrating for playing defending at Pearl, but it is a very good map, I can say.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next question from Run It Back.
Hi, my question's kind of similar. For Flipside, it kind of expands on, the Pearl question. I'd just like to know, since this was the first time both of you played, and at this tournament, it's a brand new map. What kind of stuff do you think works, maybe doesn't work? What kind of compositions do you think we'll see in the future? How do you think Pearl will play out come, later on down the line in competitive VALORANT?
I'm not sure about the future, but from the recent matches, I saw like so many good team play Pearl because of the slow pace. Because like you can walk to so many angles, like to break the trap, to walk to R, to walk the A. You can like easily sneak everywhere you want. I think for now, the meta is like play slow, I would say, but I don't know the future, how the map gonna, how people gonna play the map.
Thank you. Next question comes from One Esports. For anyone who wants to answer, you and Zeta are frequent scrim partners. What is the difference between playing a team you know so well and one that is not as familiar?
Untuk semuanya bisa jawab. Kalian lumayan sering main sama Zeta. Apa perbedaannya main lawan tim yang kayak udah ketahuan, udah pernah main, sama yang belum pernah sama sekali?
I think we just know each other very well if we practice a lot with the team. And also I think we kinda know what they thought and then what they want to do in the game. Yeah, I think that's it.
Thank you. Okay, are there any other questions in the room? Yes, blix.gg.
Yes, I have a question for Tebotal. I mean, you joined last year at the end of last season, and so you've been a part of this long process of this team from trying to fight within the region to qualify for VCT and finally reaching VCT for champions. And so I'd like to know, like, how will you look back at the team's progression for this season, as you guys begin to reflect on what went down from champions and then everything that came before it?
Oke, pertanyaan untuk Tebotal kan join di awal tahun ini. Intinya udah sama-sama bareng Boom berjuang dari VCT Indo sampai akhirnya bisa sampai ke Champions. Menurut kamu gimana progresnya Boom? Lalu ke depannya seperti apa tanggapannya? Intinya menurut kamu tuh gimana sih perjalanan dari awal kamu join Boom sampai menuju saat ini?
Menurut gua awal-awal pas join di Boom kayak kayaknya 6 bulan pertama kayak kita rough banget buat masuk ke master. Setelah stage 2 selesai, latihan kita semakin kayak bagus semenjak adanya famous. Jadinya pas LCQ itu our best play kayaknya. Kalau untuk kedepannya masih belum tahu lagi.
Okay, so he said after the first 6 months joining Boom, it's very rough. They tried to do masters and didn't able to, and then famous came and he feels like the practice, everything's like way much better, and the lineup for this LCQ is the best boom so far. And for the future, he still hasn't got any idea for now.
Thank you. Next question from Upcomer.
Another question for whoever wants to field it. With this being the end of the VCT season, for you guys, I just want to know if you guys had a message for Valorant fans who may have gotten to see Boom play for the first time at Champions.
Oke, itu untuk semua yang mau jawab, ini udah selesai tahun ini VCT Champions terakhir. Ada pesan apa untuk fans atau penonton Boom yang udah ngelihat kalian berhasil masuk ke Champions?
I think all I can say is thank you so much for the support that you guys give us. Thank you so much also for everything, like the support, like even though when we're losing or we're winning, luckily we can go to champion to make you guys proud. And then I would say sorry also to everyone who's supporting us in champion because we cannot even go to like playoff. I think, yeah, that's all I can say. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next question from Run It Back.
This one's for Berserks specifically. You had pretty impactful 13 first kills over the course of that series, but on the other side of that, that came along with 14 first deaths. I know, it's still kind of early, to think about what to fix and stuff like that, but I just want to know if you have any plans in place or kind of what you think of that first kill to first death ratio and how you can maybe make those first kills more impactful by negating those first deaths.
Oke, pertanyaan buat Rizky. Jadi tadi dia bilang kan di series ini kamu lumayan dapat 13 first kill, tapi habis itu juga dapat 14 deaths nih. Jadi dengan rasio itu menurut kamu bagaimana rencana kamu ke depannya untuk kayak lebih misalnya bukan ya memperbaiki, intinya kayak gimana supaya ke depannya tuh bisa first skill-nya lebih baik lagi gitu.
Kalau untuk gua sih harus lebih minta utility ke teman sih. Itu aja. Buat bantuin dapat first blood kayak minta flash contohnya.
Okay. He said what he will try to improve next is to ask more utility from his teammates to get those first bloods coming more in the future.
Thank you. Are there any other questions? Or Run It Back, did you have another one? Okay. Final call for questions from the room. All right, well, this will conclude our press conference with Boom Esports. Thank you very much for joining us. We'll be back with Zeta in a bit. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the press conference. We are joined today by Zeta Division, the winners of Match 1. If you have a question for any of the players or the coach, please use the Zoom hand raise feature and I will call on you. You may also type the question in the chat. All right, first question goes to Run It Back.
Thank you. Congratulations on the victory. This question is for Laz directly. We hear a lot about the chamber nerfs that went down and kind of his place in the meta. Clearly, any changes or anything like that didn't affect you. So I just want to know, do you feel like he is still a little broken? Do you feel like there are any changes that may be needed? Or as someone who utilizes him well, do you feel like he's perfect where he's at?
まずはおめでとうございます。この質問はラズ選手に対して、の質問です。チェンバーに関して、直近でナーフが、ありましたが、そのナーフというのはラズ選手の今日のパフォーマンスを見ると、あまり影響はなかったように見えます。チェンバー使いとして、このチェンバーの現状の性能についてちょうどいいところなのか、さらにナーフが必要なのか、お考えをお伺いしたいです。
そうですね。結構難しいかなと思ってるんですけど、多くの人にとってヘッドハンターの値段向上とか、あとランデブーの範囲が狭まったっていうのはかなり影響が出たかなとは思ってるんですけども、個人的にヘッドハンターは連射しなくてほとんど使用感変わんねえなっていうのと、ランデブー狭くなったのは、なんか狭くなったなりに、なんかうまいこと使おうとしたら使えちゃって、今までと同じようにはいかないですけど、うまく使えてるなとは思ってます。でナーフはどうなんでしょうかね。なんか、よりオペレーターを使う場合は、まだ強いなとは思います。ライフルでチェンバーを使うなら他のキャラ使った方がいいかなとは思ってますね。
So that's a really difficult question to answer. In terms of Headhunter, the rising cost in Headhunter and also the area getting smaller for Rendezvous. Personally, both of these changes did not affect how I play these. In fact, for Rendezvous, the smaller area, it made me play the abilities more wisely and choosing the right timings for usage. So, for my opinion, it did not change. So, Chamber is still a very strong agent for playing operator, but not sure. He's not too great at the moment when using rifle.
Thank you. Next question goes to Esports World.
e スポーツワールドの井川です。皆さんお疲れ様でした。
お疲れ様です。
じゃあ XQ コーチに質問があります。
はい。
今回パールでの11対11のラウンドの時がすごく逆転できたタイミングだと思ってるんですが、この時に相手がタイムアウトを取ったと思いますが、その時何を話していましたか？
So in Pearl, the round of 11 to 11 was the round that decided the comeback. During the timeout, XQQ, what did you talk about?
ちょっとそのために話した内容を覚えてないんですけど、それまで逆転するまでの間にある程度使ってた内容をとりあえず使おうっていう話はしていて、転勤が B 論プッシュした。ちょっとすいません、本当に覚えてないんですけど、あのタイミングでは本当、今までずっと A を攻められて、それをカウンターできる形を作っていたので、できるだけそれを継続しておこうっていう話はしてたと思います。
ありがとうございます。
I don't quite remember what we exactly talked about at that moment, but before the comeback, we were being attacked on A site a lot, so I remember talking about the counter against that and trying to polish up the strategies that we had done in previous rounds that worked well.
Thank you. Next question goes to Caillou.
はい。まずは、初勝利おめでとうございます。海遊の堀田と申します。同じく XQ コーチに質問なんですけども、 パールの試合、最後の方で、頭を抱えていらっしゃったのがとても印象的だったんですけども、その時にどういったことを考えていらっしゃったのかというのをお伺いしてもよろしいでしょうか。
So there's another question for XQQ. At the end of the Pearl match, it was really. I remember you had your head down on the desk, disappointed. What were you thinking back then?
ちょっと、この試合、かなり頭抱えたシーンがあったので、ちょっとどのタイミングでの頭抱えたシーンかわかんないんですけど、多分本当に9本で止まって、そこから相手にレイスされたところだと思ってて、ちょっともともと用意していた A セットの守り方があまり通らず、ちょっとこれどうしようかなっていうところでの頭を抱えてたシーンだと思います。
To be honest, in the Pearl match, there were a lot of occasions where my my head was down on the desk with the concerns. So, but it must have been our strategy not working on A side defense. So that was probably the moment that you captured.
ありがとうございます。
Thank you. Next question from GameSpark.
はい。まずは勝利おめでとうございます。シュガーゼロ選手に伺いたいんですけれども、マップパールでは、ずっと同じエリアをキープしたりとか、そういうエリアコントロールはうまくいっていたように感じたんですけれども、実際にパール公式大会でプレイしてみていかがでしたか？
This question is for Shigezero. In Pearl, you seem to have been holding the same site on and same area, and it seemed to have been working quite well. What was your impression on the Pearl's performance?
練習と全く変わらないので、特に大会でどうとかないです。
ありがとうございます。
It was basically the same impression as how I felt in practices. So no impressions in particular for the international match.
Thank you. Next question from My Navi News.
マイナビニュース、綾本です。勝利おめでとうございます。テン選手に質問です。今回は休養のブランクがあった中で迎えた本番だと思うんですけれども、合流後、短い練習期間の準備はいかがでしたでしょうか？また、ご自身から見て、今パフォーマンスはどれくらい本調子が出せていると感じますか？
The next question is for 10. As we know, your break, you had a long break, and then you came back to the roster and had a quite shorter period to prepare for the event. How did you prepare for this, and at what percentage are you back in shape for the competition?
そうですね。練習期間が1週間ぐらいしかなくて、で、1ヶ月間ぐらい、僕、ちょっとやってなかったんで、バロラント。そのやってない状態で、いきなりプロ、めっちゃ強いチームとやるのは、すごく大変でしたね。で、現状はまだ、50、60% ぐらいしかまだ出せてないのかなって、個人的には思ってます。
ありがとうございます。
So we only had 1 week to prepare once I joined back in the roster, and I was away for 1 whole month. So having to compete with strong teams in this event was very difficult for me. I would say that I'm at about 50 to 60% back in shape.
Thank you. Next question from Encount.
勝利おめでとうございます。エンカウントの片村と申します。ラザ選手とクロー選手に伺いたいんですけれども、今回、第1戦からマップごと試合ごとに調子が上向いているように見ていて感じるんですけれども、そのあたり、試合やっている中で感じるところを伺えればと思います。
This question is for Laz or Crow. I found that the performance was getting better map by map. How did you think about this?
黒から、俺はい。そうですね。見ての通り、試合が進むにつれて、どんどん調子も上がってきて、パールもね、結構、辛い押され方を最後の方にしてたんですけど、そこからまた巻き返すことができて、これは来たなっていう感じでした。
So yes, as you saw, we were performing better by map. And especially on Pearl, we were having a bad push on the at the very end of the game. So it's great to have the comeback.
そうですね、試合を重ねるごとに、なんだろう。アイスランドでの経験があったからこそ、なんか、全然まだ勝てるなっていう気持ちがずっとあって、それが、そうですね、働いて、もう、どんな状況でもいけるなっていう感じにはどんどんなっていきましたね。
So the more matches we play, we started to remember back about what happened in Iceland and the experience that we had in there. And no matter what the situation is, that we can win and come back.
ありがとうございます。
Thank you. Next question comes from Desk Gamers.
Sorry, could you repeat the question, the last part of question, and who it's addressed to? Okay. この質問は、XQQ コーチへの質問です。以前すでにラウドとは戦っていると思いますが、前回を振り返って、この次のマッチに向けて改善しなければいけない点は何だと思いますか？
まあ、あまり細かくは話せないんですけど、前回のラウド戦、ミクロ面でのミスがかなり目立っていて、それで取れるラウンドを取れなかったりして、まあ、結果的には、すごく惜しい試合になっていたので、まずそこの修正と、まあ、再戦は再戦なりの用意をして、戦いに挑もうかなと思っています。
So I cannot talk much about the details of the strategy, but in the last match against Loud, there were a lot of problems about the micro play, the physical battles with the players. So and then in the end, we had a lot of rounds that were very close, and we should have been able to have had the victory on this. So we were trying to fix that towards the next game and prepare another strategy for the team.
Thank you. Next question from Esports World.
井ノ川です。天選手に質問があります。ちょっとさっきの質問と被ってしまうんですが、今回復帰したことによって、モニターの距離がちょっと離れているような気がしたんですが、その辺大きな影響とかってありましたか？
そうですね、元は10、
ちょっといいですか？
すいません。
10, this question is for 10, and I noticed that when you came back this time in the roster, the distance from the monitor is a little bit farther away. How has this affected your gameplay?
僕の元のモニターの距離が13センチで、今27センチぐらいでやってるんですけど、やっぱ倍離れるってなると、こう、全然敵の見え方とかが全然違くって、まあかなりやりにくい状態ではありますね。
So my distance from the monitor used to be about 13 centimeter away from the monitor, and now it's about 27 centimeter, and it's about twice the gap as before. And yes, it's definitely affecting how I play, and it's different. I see the opponents differently, so yes, it's very difficult.
Thank you. Next question from GameSpark.
はい、ラズ選手に伺いたいんですけれども、ヘイブンでは惜しい戦いだったと思うんですけれども、ブーム e スポーツのどこがうまいと感じましたか？
This question is for Laz. In Haven, it was a very close match. What about the Boom Esports play did you find difficult?
そうですね。まず、向こうのジェットのオペレーターがすごい上手くて、そこを起点というか、そこ を、まあそうですね、細かいところは言わず、特に向こうのジェットのオペレーターは、そういう驚異的だったなと思っておりまして、それに合わせて、ブリッジの配置とかもちょっと特殊で、そこにもうまく対応することができなくて、そうですね。で、それでいて、なんか細かい連携の合わせとかも、すごいスピーディーでうまくて、そこの辺が強かったなと思ってます。
ありがとうございます。
So definitely Jet, the operator was very good. And along with that, the positioning of their breach was unique. So we had a hard time to adapt. And also they had a very speedy skill set. So we were having trouble with that too.
Thank you. Next question from Blix GG.
Hi, congrats on the series win. I have a question for XQQ. I mean, ever since the team's success in Masters 1 in Reykjavik, the talk has been about whether or not they can replicate that success for this go around. And so my question is, like, at this moment in time, where do you see the team's form in comparison to what they showed in Reykjavik? Is it close? Is it far? Is it somewhere in between? How do you compare the team's form between those 2 points in time?
まずおめでとうございます。この質問は XQQ コーチへの質問です。マスターズ1では、ゼータディビジョンの快進撃があったと思いますが、この快進撃をまた今回再現するために、今回の現在のチームの完成度というのは、マスターズ1と比較して、どの程度の完成度だと思いますか？
マスターズ1と比較しては、そうですね。本当に 60%、70% ぐらいなのかなと思います。理由としては、まあ単純にその今のロースターでの準備期間が短いのと、マスターズ1のようにメタに完全マッチした構成を、まあそういったマップで用意できてはいないっていう点が大きいと思います。ただ、まあ大会はすごく吸収することができる場なので、このまま戦い続ければ、マスターズ1のように持っていけるかなと思います。
So compared to Masters 1, I would say that we are about 60 to 70% in the performance right now, mainly because of the lack of time in our current roster to prep for the match. And also we do not have a comp that is up to date with the current meta for all maps. But again, having to compete in any international tournaments is always a learning experience for us. So it's up to how much we can learn from our mistakes and the matches that we play, each of the matches that we play.
Thank you. Next question from Caillou.
はい、会議堀田です。平田さんにお伺いします。他の質問とも被ってしまうのかもしれないんですけども、2戦目、パールでのエースは、このマッチにおけるすごい象徴的な場面だったのかなと思います。そうした、エースを取った時の心境、エースを取るまでの心境というのと、チームの雰囲気をお伺いできればと思います。
そうですね。11番。
止めてもいいですか？すみません。Next question is for Laz. And in Pearl, your ace in mid match was very impressive. How did you feel when you had that ace, and how did your teammate react to this?
そうです。まあ、11本先に取られた時点で、まあ、ここから取るだろうなっていう確信があったのと、まあ、エースに関しては、ちょっと、なんか2、3発ぐらいヘッドハンターとかオペ外した記憶があるので、もうちょっとうまくできたなと思ってます。
チームの反応。
チームの反応は、どうだったよ。来たな、みたいな感じでした。
So they had 11 rounds first. So we had to basically come back for this. And in terms of my performance, I had 2 or 3 shots of Headhunter missed. So I think I could have done better. In terms of team's reaction to this, they were like, "Oh yeah, you got this."
とてもらしさましい回答ありがとうございます。
Thank you very much. Are there any other questions in the room? All right, that will conclude our press conference with Zeta Division. Thank you so much for joining us. We will be back after match 2.